Grand Rising, beautiful, melanated, original, whatever you respectfully call yourself, people. We are here at the UEOA report. We have our soldiers out, boots on the ground in LA. We are going to continue the break the bank. We are having people out there that will, one moment. There are people lined up. I know that it's a holiday, but we're not going to stop. We are a bunch of individual groups who have come together and we are forcing the banks to hear our demands. I'm waiting for Pablo, Kevin from Africatown Coalition, Fight to Save Black LA, and more groups are out there in front of Chase Bank, and they are going to be protesting, even though it's closed. They want you to know that we're not going to stop trying to get to the root of our issues. Okay, one moment. I have Pablo coming on now. Can you hear me, Pablo?
Yep, that's a little low, but we can hear.
Okay, hold on.
So y'all know what's going on? Let me whip it around.
Okay, one moment. Hold on, let me turn it up. Okay. Now you should be able to hear us. Are you there? There. We can see
We
you
can hear.
now. Yes, we can see you now. Go ahead and let us know what's going on. Who's all out there? You have the floor.
Let me pass the microphone to Billion.
Grand Rising.
Greetings. How's it going?
Fine, fine.
Back
Let
at
us
it.
know what's going on.
All right. So this week we out here in Watts with the good family, pressing the line still. Even though the banks are closed today, we found a lot of people coming to the ATM. So we've been able to talk to a few people. Earlier we was over on the west side back on Crenshaw, but now we're over on the east side. And again, just raising up the fact that banks like Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, not only have roots in slavery, but ever since have been exploiting the black community by one means or another, sabotaging our wealth. Uh, there go Kevin. So yeah, we just raising up to the family, encouraging people to transfer over to a black financial institution. But also, as we know, people are getting ready for Black Friday and the holiday season spending, really encouraging people to be mindful. One, if you ain't got to spend it, don't spend it. But if you are going to spend it with black businesses. And if you can, transfer your finances over to a black bank.
That's awesome. Hold on, Kevin. Hold on. Let me unmute you. Can
Um,
you hear us,
oh,
Kevin?
I'm
Go
muted.
ahead. Yeah, you unmuted.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Yeah, the mic's kind of low.
How's everybody? I
Turn it up
can't
a bit.
hear.
We can hear you. We can hear you. We
Oh,
can
you can
hear
hear me.
you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just wanted to give a shout out. As you know, the Break the Bank is going strong, even though it's an off day for the banks. There's a lot of people out there on the ATM. So it's been a real interesting day. So we definitely want to appreciate everybody who is involved in the action out there, without a doubt.
Can you tell us? You said it's an interesting day. Have you had any progress with talking to our people about spending this holiday season?
Yes, actually, I'm in a conversation with a Nigerian sister. She has some economic ideas about, the holidays and buying black, and also, developing a black insurance policy that, can help, our people on the grassroots. So, yeah, it's a slow start, but yeah, I've definitely been doing a little something.
Well, that's great. That's great. It looks like you have a lot of people out there. Is how many different organizations are out there today? Because we know the banks don't take a break, so we commend you, soldiers, for still getting up and doing the work.
Well, I'm in Africa Town right now, so I'm not at the bank. I just been like, kind of monitoring things from afar because we have another operation that we have going on. So yeah, I'm just out here, and but Billion can give you more of a detail of the breakdown of all those who were out there at the bank down there on Crenshaw. That Crenshaw location.
Okay. And can you tell us? I know that we've been on here, and a lot of people don't understand what is going on. We want to fight nationally about the banks, but can you give a little history about Africa Town and what this fight is for?
Yeah, well, Africa Town has well, actually, I think I would say it started back when Billion was involved with the takedown of Walmart, and since then, there's been a strategy developed to go after egregious corporations within the community that doesn't give back to the community in any significant way. So matter of fact, Billion along with I think Fight to Save Black LA and Randy Kane, they have been working diligently on the bank issue. So I'm actually going to turn that over to him because he can better explain that than I can.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you, Kevin.
Peace.
Go ahead, Billion. Fill us in.
Oh, my bad. I missed the question.
He said you could better tell us. He was telling us about how you had to fight with Walmart, and I was asking him to just give the people, because we have new viewers all the time. Give the people a little bit of history of Africa Town and what this fight is about.
All right, yeah. So, Africa Town is a small part of LA, South Central, that we are claiming. A lot of people know it as Lamert Park. The area initially was made by racists who had covenants to keep us out. And then in 48, when the Constitution ended those type of covenants, Black people gradually moved in and took that community over. In 2016, when a few different organizations came together to form what we now call the Africa Town Coalition, initially we were in the streets pushing back against police killing our people. But then we looked and saw the homeless crisis was crazy. We saw gentrification was taking over our communities. Initially, LA had about 26 Black communities. They said we're down to about 5 Black communities right now. Mm-hmm. So that inspired us to go ahead and claim one of the last areas we have in the Crenshaw district that we now call it Africa Town. Part of the connection to this bank campaign is they have financed a lot of predatory loans. They have denied a lot of employment opportunities. They have helped to keep the wealth gap widened by the low rates they pay when you put money into their banks, as opposed to the high rates they charge when you take money out of their banks. So in 2011, with part of the Occupy movement, we began going after corporate America. We saw, most of they top corporations are corrupt. So where a lot of folks were gathering downtown LA doing what they call Occupy LA, we brought it back to the community and called it Occupy Crenshaw. And in that, one of the first targets was the banks. The finances of corporate America is pretty much behind most Black ills right now. Even when people want to talk about so-called Black on Black violence, most of us know that's due to a lack of resources, but it's also due to these white corporate entertainment industries that raise up that type of culture. So, well, we've been on the front line fighting a lot of the effects of what these banks finance. We figured this year, instead of running around fighting all these different battles, we'll more so focus on the root, which is Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and all other financial institutions that pretty much finance Black terrorism, Black hardships, Black genocide, Black gentrification, and every other ill we're dealing with.
So we appreciate that. A lot of people need to understand they're taking a situation that's happening locally, but it's happening to us all over nationally. This is
Right.
what's been happening to us all through our lives. We called it, oh, they're building the white neighborhoods, when it's really gentrification. You want to speak? There's Pablo.
Yeah, so situations like the one that we're about to deal with involving Family Dollar, you have to trace that money back to who finances Family Dollar. How did they get that business off the ground? Who's behind those puppet strings? Like you just said, the entertainment industry. When you trace all these things back, the housing industry, all the stuff that we're battling at once, you trace it back to these banks. So this is a form of demanding our reparations directly from the horse's mouth, because like we said, Wells Fargo was founded off of chattel slavery money, and a lot of us don't know this. We're so busy trying to crowbar our way into the American dream. Remember that saying, if you don't want a black man to know something, put it in a book. So that's the kind of logic that they're banking on us having. So when we do stuff like this, and they clearly see, oh, okay, these Negroes is they on something else. So then that's when they start getting a little wary, start getting a little shaky in the boots, and that's exactly the intent. So we don't want to just stop. I'll put it like this: we've been marching and yelling and screaming since the fall of MLK. We've been marching, yelling, and screaming since the fall of the original Black Panther Party, and it's time to do something different. This is something. What we're actually doing right now is actually historic. We're making history right now, because no black group has ever done what we're doing right now. Now it might not be glamorous right now to a lot of black people, because you don't hear celebrity names involved. You ain't gonna see no Dr. Umar out here. You ain't gonna see no big names out here, but you are gonna see those black boots on the ground doing what needs to be done. Let's see
Well,
what we're gonna see what some of the soldiers have to say about this. What do you think about the fact that you can walk into this bank, and because of that color right there, you won't be able to get a loan or anything that you need to get credit or anything? Why are you out here?
Well, so I can protest against it because that's not right.
How does it make you feel to know?
Well, it makes me feel like, well, affect me personally doesn't affect me personally, but it makes me feel like that's messed up. Like it's not right because just because you're a different skin color doesn't make you different. It's just you're equally right to everybody else. So you have all the rights that everybody else has. So I really don't like it.
I'm gonna ask another soldier right here. What do you think about the fact that just because you chocolate, you can't go into this institution behind us and get a credit card, get a business loan? You got to pay through the nose with the rates and everything. What do you think about this? Why are you out here?
Honestly, I feel divided, like unequal. Um, but I wouldn't say that I would feel like degraded by it because we know our worth. But the fact is that they don't, and whether you know it or not, it doesn't make sense. So I feel like overall, I feel like I should feel like we should all be equal. But if they don't understand that, then something has to be said. And if they don't understand that, then we need to make a stand together as a community, as a people. We need to work together and we need to do our own. If they're not going to work with us, then we can do it ourselves. We don't need other people. But I feel like it shouldn't be allowed on any circumstance.
Another quick question. Now, this right here is one of the biggest black-owned banks in the country. Let me ask you this: What would you like to see out of this black-owned bank?
Out of this black-owned bank,
Yeah, if you were to go into the black-owned bank, what would you like to see out of it?
what I should see. I'd like to see community. I'd like to see people coming together. I like to see more interactive, just more communication, more people coming together. I feel like that's the purpose of it all in the first place, for us to all come together, for other people to have a chance, not just looking at, their skin color, or, like who they are, like just as all of us just to come together and like not do what they do, just do it our own way. That's what I feel like the most of all.
I'm gonna ask this soldier to behind me one more quick question. I'm gonna pan the camera around, So we're in Watts, California. So what do you think? What do you think about being in a so-called black neighborhood? There's no black-owned business around here. You can't get a credit card or anything to save your life. What do you think about being in a place where every store you go to, you don't see nobody like you working there or owning it? What do you think about this?
Well, it used to give me a false hope, be like, I'm not gonna get a job, but now it doesn't anymore because I see that I'm not just the only one fighting for other black people to get jobs. There's also a lot of people standing up for our race, and um, yeah, it really doesn't make anybody black make themselves feel good because they feel like they're not gonna have a chance, but we're standing up for each other, so there can be a chance. So yeah.
So just to put that in perspective, I'll tell you, back when I was doing a talk show, we did a show on the state of economics in the black community. So would you want to take a guess at what are the two top grossing enterprises in the black community?
Are you asking Are you asking us out here, or are you asking them
Yeah,
out?
I'm asking. Yeah, I'm asking out there. What would y'all say is the top two grossing enterprises in the black community?
You talking about that our enemy is making liquor stores and the prisons?
Yeah, you. So to answer that question, when we did when we got our receipts for this particular talk show that I used to do, the top two grossing enterprises in the black community are one, rent to own establishments, and close number two was payday loan establishments. And when you think about that figure of the black dollar being cycled out of our community in 4 to 6 hours after we get it, now you see why. We got people, we are living in, here in Watts, we're living in a consumer only community, meaning we are renting the house or apartment that we live in. A lot of us are renting the furniture that we live in. We're paying the car note. We're paying for the rims on our car. And then everywhere we shop at is a non-black owned business. And we are literally a community, a consumer only community. So when you think about what banks like this bank behind me does, even if I had the mindset to run a business, they won't give me the business capital. I mean, I've applied. I've had 600 and 700 credit scores. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't had no 800 in it like that. But I was a high 7, almost 2 and 8, and even at that rate, I couldn't even get a credit card at the bank, a bank that I've been banking at, and that happened to be Bank of America. Got denied, and we
Oh, YouTube ScrewTube is playing with us. Go ahead.
yeah. So we decided that we don't want to pass this down to this upcoming generation, and that's why we like to stand with this younger generation, and we like to lead them down the path because we don't want them going out to repeat past mistakes. We know that when you initially get screwed, we know the first thing is to get angry, get a sign, and go out there and go hoot and holler and all that. That's a start, but that's only a strategy. So we're trying to get them to think critically and go beyond that.
Exactly. And it takes this. It takes us getting off our butts instead of waiting for a celebrity to come. Um, yes, Pride Bentley. Instead of waiting for a celebrity to come and save us, instead of waiting for Jesus to save you, instead of waiting for a politician to save you, we have come to the place in our lives where we have to get up and be grassroots together because nobody's coming to save us. When we have these people, even our chocolate so-called stars, they get the money and they go move in with the common enemy and leave us out here in the streets to die with each other.
Yeah, that leads to the Kyrie Irving situation, the Kanye West situation. Um, both those situations clearly showed you no matter how far you muscle your way into their system, you're still gonna be a Negro. I mean, I think my personal opinion, I think Kanye West really thought he had escaped being a Negro. He really thought he made it. he, really, he really thought he made it to non-Negro status, and they just pulled the rug from under him, and he got that Negro wake-up call. So that tells you right there, you can go to the highest heights you want in their system, and you're gonna still run against that same brick wall. So either way, that boot got to be on the ground, and we have to do what we're doing right now.
Exactly. And we have to understand that we are the America's credit. We are $1 trillion spending machine. They know it. We are a $1 trillion spending machine, and they are a $1 trillion soak it up machine. We are their America's credit. America is trillions of dollars in debt. You don't hear them say that white people is a $1 trillion spending machine. You don't hear all that. We are America's credit. We have always been America's credit.
And you add that to if you combine our spending power, which is reported at 1.6 trillion, with the diaspora, the African immigrant population, theirs is 97.6 billion. If you combine those two spending powers together, that's what we're looking to do with the Black Coalition Summit, because that's the coalition that we need to be pursuing and putting our weight behind, because we got to build our own economic floor, and it starts with doing this. This is a reparations rally that we're doing right now. And quick, what did you think about the FBA reparations rally?
I actually have not been able to watch too much of it in detail yet, but it did look like, some nice numbers showed up, and that's part of what's needed right now. 'Cause I see already on the level of the chosen Negroes who they have sitting up, speaking on behalf of reparations. It's just going around in a circle. So I think right now, if we're going to make any progress, it's going to take the grassroots to not keep waiting, to not keep listening to this talk about HR 40 and all of that, but to, in addition to the government, find all the different entities that was involved and start pressing them directly. That's one of the reasons we really raise up the fact that these banks had a hand in slavery. These banks, they can pay reparations next week, and that'll be that. But again, if we keep sitting back and just cheering, who makes the best speech on these so-called national platforms, our grandchildren will still be sitting up talking about they want their reparations. So yeah, I just say keep getting out there, turn it up. Salute to Tariq for doing that. But I've heard a lot of criticism people said about it. But my thing is always, wherever you see the next person making a mistake or not following through with what you think needs to get done, that's where you got to step up and follow through and get that done. So, salute to everybody that's doing something right now.
Billion, don't y'all have a cash app or y'all raising money for the cause? Because I know y'all are out there. A lot of people don't know that y'all do a lot of work in the community, and y'all don't get a lot of credit. So where's the places that what is your donation site or the hashtag for the donation?
Yeah, our primary means of accepting donations is Cash App, and that's $BLACTION and the numbers 365. Blackton 365. BLACTION 365. Thank you for raising that up for us.
Yes, of course. I know that y'all are out there, and a lot of us, we basically we salute and we give to a lot of people who are not boots on the ground or who are not in the community with us. And that's something that we have to stray away from, not just the banks, but also putting our money into black pockets that are not doing nothing but taking that money and walking it back to the enemy.
Right, exactly. Sometimes you see folks have these conversations about what's going on, and then you turn around and you see them with all that money they done raised on some luxury tour somewhere. And our thing is, we can't take a break, we can't go on vacation as long as our people are out here on these streets doing another cold winter. In LA, we just had rain for about a week, and we know normally after rain, people start dying because of pneumonia and different consequences. So, whatever we get, we most definitely put right back into our programs. We have a housing program where we get hotel rooms for our brothers and sisters. We have a 24/7 safety patrol that we do. If people have a confrontation with the police, we show up ASAP. But a lot of different things like that, feeding the community, is where your money will go if you donate to us.
Thank you for that. Thank you, and thank you, Kings, for the work that you are out there doing,
Thank
bringing
you, Queen.
awareness.
We love that we've been able to connect with you and raise this up on a national level.
Yes, I love it. I love it. This is we're writing history, and I'm hoping
Yep.
that other people, even if they don't join us in this empire, we're hoping to spread this energy of sticking together and fighting together and going after the head. You cannot. It's like a drug dealer. They put the drug dealers in jail, but they don't get rid of the source of the drugs. The
Right,
source
right,
of the police power is money. The money comes from the banks. The banks give loans to racist people, racist corporations, and they soak up all our resources. They have us running around here broke, poor, hungry, and thinking that we're going to get the American dream when it's evidence that we have been left behind. Do you I know that y'all are getting you're trying to get things there because a lot of our people are homeless there, correct?
right. It's crazy.
And with that, what is you look? I know that y'all want things settled there, and I'm gonna go into. I can read them, or you can say some of the demands. I have them listed here. I was gonna read out the demands that y'all are looking for, but you can say them again if you want to.
Yeah, I don't have them in front of me, so if you could read them off,
Okay.
that'd be perfect.
Okay. Okay. We want you to know that this is what they came up with. The blacks, and that the blacks is another group, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Right. And we keep it at that just to let it be known. This isn't something we're asking just for us as an organization.
Thank
But
you.
about a month ago, some of our council members came out, and that's how they referred to us as the blacks. So we just speak in their language as we put those demands out there.
So the blacks demand the seven mega banks, and if you look in the description of this video, it's a link. I want you to tell the story about Maxine Waters because that's important. Why you put the link in there?
Okay, yeah. So Maxine Waters been our congresswoman forever, and for a long time, people kind of got on her for participating in these bank bailouts that had been happening going back to Baby Bush, and then under Obama, another bailout happened. And at that time, it was believed her husband was involved with a bank, and that's why she supported him. But I think August she came and she talked to us and just let us know she is paying attention to what's going on, and she also agrees the banks need to be doing a lot more to reinvest and build up our communities. And about a month later, she held a congressional hearing where they called the seven major banks to basically share with them all of the complaints and allegations waged against them. And we have included snippets of these videos for people to see and just to hear how corrupt these banks are and how they have been allowed to be this corrupt for so long. You know, one of us break into somebody's house and steal a TV, we get arrested and we go to jail, home evasion, robbing. But these people are being allowed to not only take people's homes, but basically take away whole communities. So, and again, this is happening because a lot of us don't know, and those that do know have been allowing it to happen for the small crumbs they get. You know, a few $1,000s might sound like a lot when you broke, but when you know you're dealing with $1 trillion entity, these $1,000 they throwing out, it's a whole lot of zeros between thousands and trillions. So we need those
Exactly.
zeros to get up to the millions, if not billions, when it comes to sustainable investments in our community.
Thank you. And I'm gonna read off some of these demands. And just to let you know, we did it in the last video. I don't have it in front of me, but Chase, the reason why they're going after Chase and Wells Fargo really are because they have over 170 something trillion dollars, if I'm not mistaken, that they have made off of us. You have heard the stories of Wells Fargo, you have heard the stories of Chase, and they get bailouts. Like billionaire son said, if you do one thing, your life, you're put in prison. This is a national problem. You're put in prison, but because you're rich, your life is okay. You can rob from the poor and still rob from the poor, and nothing is done. I'm going to read out a couple of these demands. Are you going to say something, Pablo, before I start reading?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and read them. We gotta wrap up. We're gonna do march through the shopping center and go swing by the projects and pass out this literature. You can see it.
Okay.
So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. Getting a little
Okay.
dark. So yeah, go ahead.
Well, you can go ahead. If y'all go ahead and do your work, I can wrap this up. They know that y'all are out there. Y'all have the Cash App. We appreciate y'all. Be safe. We don't want to hold you up. If you want to stay on film or if you want to go, but we want to encourage y'all and thank y'all for having boots on the ground.
We're gonna leave y'all with this. Nothing's gonna happen if you don't get your dang boot on the dang ground.
Thank
Oh,
you. Power.
Black
Power.
Black power.
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 oh.
Okay, I'm gonna read y'all the demands that they came up with. See, they didn't just take their situation in their city and just leave it. They're making it a national thing because this affects all of us. If you've been to your neighborhoods and you see that it's all dainty and it's all these plazas are popping up, even though it looks nice and clean, it should not be a black side of the town and a rich side of the town. I would say white, but now that they're integrating all different races, and just because one or two of us get to go on the good side of town doesn't mean it's right. If we all pay taxes, we all go to work. We all work at these corporations. We all do the same thing. But how come when you go into the nice areas, the police gets called on you? That's because they're subconsciously saying you don't belong here. Why? Because back in slavery, black people were designated the poor class. After slavery, they made sure that they came up with black codes and law to keep you poor. Here are the demands. And this is why we have to stick together. There are 7 mega banks. Their CEOs. The name of and I can't pronounce them all. Bank of America is Brian Mohini. Citibank is Jane Frazier. JP Morgan and Chase is Jamie DIMON. PNC Bank is William DEMCHAK. TRUIST TRUIST Bank. You probably never heard of them because a lot of these banks got sub banks. So just because you go into your credit union, understand these banks are still owned by the same banks, and these mega banks headquarters are in all these other countries. And you wonder why these other countries always holding us responsible for paying reparations. Okay, we have US BANCORP. Ain't that on your Chase card? All these credit cards. See how they have us subconsciously supporting businesses that if we were aware of what they did, we would not support them. US BANCORP. Look at that. Look. It's time to start opening up our eyes. Wells Fargo. US BANCORP is Andy Searcy, and Wells Fargo is Charles SCHARF. Collectively, they're all worth $13 trillion. And if you look in the description and go scroll all the way to the bottom, look at the links. They didn't advertise this. They want you to be paying attention to Ye and Kyrie Irving. So you won't understand that Maxine Waters went to Congress and all the banks was there. And they asked these banks, do they plan on doing anything or doing reparations or having any future black CEOs? Only one bank raised their hand. The rest of them, they don't care. Because they're getting it just like they got it during slavery, off of your ignorance, off of your lack of knowledge. And it's not your fault because the system was designed that way. They are asking asking the banks, because look, let's go to the source of the problem. Money is power. So who has all the money? So they're asking divest from law enforcement agencies and prosecute prosecutors who refuse to hold law enforcement accountable. 1B, reparations for the blacks affected by state-sanctioned terrorism. Meaning all of us that, do you feel comfortable driving down the street? When you see a police car, how do you feel as a black person? What thoughts go to your mind? Why are those thoughts in your mind? And if anything happens to you, what you waiting to get on a t-shirt or we gonna end this right now. 2, cease predatory loans. Other means of redlining. Reparations for families who were conned out of their homes. This is why I had a problem with Vicky Dillard, because at the end, the banks, most of our black people get this scheming and scamming from the rich whites. That's why it's an insult when a black person comes into our community using the struggle for an advance to come up, and then they take them same dollars and you see them sitting on a boat next to the same racist people that you are trying to get to change laws because your cousin or somebody you know has been shot dead by police. Spending money is more important than what you think. When you go shopping, it's more important than what you think. You're doing more than just going shopping. When you put your money in the bank, you're doing more than just putting your money in the bank. That's why they don't educate you in finances in school. And that's why they're little by little taking all of education out of school and just programming you to be workers. They want them to divest from the prison industrial complex, policies that criminalize the blacks, reparations for the blacks who have been devastated by the PIC. Let me tell you, Alabama just passed the law. It was during this voting, there was laws going around for all the states to stop basically slavery, prison slavery. They all denied it. Alabama, and I'm picking on Alabama because the governor won again, even though she dressed up in blackface all her life. She stopped CRT. She closed down the schools I went to. She's closed down schools, and then they come in and build racist schools under the guise of charter or magnet schools. Then they close down schools in the hood, and then the schools are still sitting in the hood, but now your child can't go there because now your child is not considered advanced enough to go. They come up with laws to make it okay to leave you and your children behind. Then she closed down the schools and she put the money that Obama and all the presidents were sending for Medicaid and, in the state's treasury, she using $800 million to build more prisons. If we know the history of white people in Europe, that's all they did was build prisons. They brought that prison lifestyle to us. How can we keep breaking laws and we ain't never read a law book? Don't I need to face my accuser? You can't tell me we need to stop just going by it. How we know what's on the drug law? How we know selling drugs is against the law when we never signed a contract with America? We need to play the same game America is playing. But Kay Ivey got voted in again, even though there was a black woman running. That's why I don't trust voting. We see that these rich white people are going around redoing voting areas, and y'all keep putting your hope in voting instead of saying bump it. Walk away and get together with boots on the ground with us. If you don't go to their restaurants don't make money. That's why you see all COVID was from God. I don't care what y'all say. It was to show y'all that you can live without a government. We didn't have a government we just had this government for 400 plus years. And somehow we're convinced that we need a government. The first time you need a government is so the government can protect its citizens. But this is not a government. This is a bunch of greedy vultures sitting around watching us all fight and kill, and they swoop in. I need an organ. They swoop in. We need money. They have us all black, white, Asian, Jews, whatever you want to call it. They have us all in a bowl, and the 7 top banks are sitting around like vultures waiting to get the dead. When you walk around with Nikes and all your designer labels, all your slave master labels, you're dead man walking. You're dead. You have been tricked to dress yourself up and adorn your body with white labels to make your skin seem like it's worth it because they told you your skin was a curse. You pray to God that these people change, and they not praying to God. They slitting throats and shooting us in the back of the head. When we gonna get on that level? You gonna go to jail? We might well go to jail for something. Ain't that right? They want reparations for descendants of Africans who were enslaved in the U.S. And I say, and we're going to add this to the national letter that I told y'all that we need to write to the UN, and we're going to keep sending it to banks. Y'all need to write in what you want. It's time to demand some stuff. We're demanding a lot of these abandoned towns that these banks give us to become safe places so that we can have hospitals, just like the Jewish and the Asians have their own. The Asians come right here in America and they have their own police because they don't trust these police. Because remember, the Asians and the Jews left us when the white people didn't like them. Because remember, all white people were pure white and they wasn't nothing till they realized that we fought together. That's how freedom came. But then our brothers and sisters took the freedom because they looked more like the white people and walked away and left us. So let's remember, they always want to brag. We all were slaves. We were all slaves. When? Show us the pictures of the Jewish slaves hanging up in the trees. Show me the Asians hanging and slit. I hear the stories, but I ain't seen no damn evidence. All I keep seeing every time I flip through Google Images is us. They can't go. When you're gonna realize that Europeans and the Jews and the Asians were our complexions before. That's why you don't see any pictures of the white-skinned ones being oppressed, cut up, burned down. Name a Jew who house that anybody came and burned a cross in their house. This was after. We need to have demands and then be okay with demanding it. See, they have tricked you with the Bible to make it look like your sins is what got you here. No, their sins got us here. You cannot keep letting the devil trick you and then keep saying you're rebuking the devil. You keep putting, and I'm gonna keep saying it. The devil is not a spirit. The devil is in you, me. God is not a spirit. God is in you and me. It's the choice that you make to do what you do with your body and your mind. They make a choice to wake up every day and killing our black asses. They make it okay with enslaving our black asses under the guise of working for minimum wage. There is something wrong when a country is raising the prices. We ain't caught up yet, but the prices keep going up. Y'all keep walking around spending all your money to look rich, and that's what they want you to do. Just like they get all the homeless off the street and push them in the back of the cities so the city can look like it's prosperous, and your eyes don't see what is reality. They are the devil. What did the Bible say? The devil is a spirit of illusion. The devil is the spirit of illusion. The devil is like a roaring lion walking to and fro, seeking whom they may devour. Who are they devouring? Who's being devoured? Us. They want reparations, deceased, sabotaging black wealth. Reparations for financial hardships your institutions practice in black communities. Predatory loans. Make equitable investments in communities where your institutions deny black people employment opportunities. Audit programs designed to help blacks and make these programs more efficient or afford or give us access to them. Cease financial corruption, corrupt politicians and policies that continue to oppress blacks. Hashtag end black erasure. Hashtag end gentrification. Hashtag reparations now. Hashtag break the bank. We want y'all to use those hashtags. If you can't remember anyone, hashtag break the bank, because we're going to make this national. I don't care if it's this time next year. We've been marching for a long time, but this march is going to get us some results. What we doing now is going to get us some results if y'all get on to it. When you want to get, we're going to have the flyers online. Print them out, hand them out. When you see people going into these banks, I still got accounts with Bank of America because they own it. Just like Queen Kathy said, there's black banks. I remember when I had got a little lump sum of money, my income tax, I drove from Florida to Birmingham. I drove all the way around to look for a black bank. And you know what their rules was? I had to have a credit check. How the hell is my credit measured against white people credit when we ain't never had a chance. That is the stupidest thing we accepted. So I want to add in this that we have different credit terms. I tried to get a business loan after COVID, after they seen us got money, they slide went in there and raised the standards for you to get the grants and the loan. Your credit score. Half of us don't have good credit. Credit score got to be so perfect. Now to get the help, and then they advertise again. Oh, we got all this money left. Y'all ain't getting it because you're not allowing us access to get it. The majority of the people, what you don't understand is that anytime they make rules that's going to affect the poor people, they know the majority of the people is poor, so that's why they let it go. And then they let white and Asian and people argue with you. Well, I'm suffering too. But there's a difference when you can walk out and see hope. I see all these white corporations, and the only people I feel hope for is the white people. I don't care how poor of a white person you are. Every day you walk out your door, they have labeled everything to give you hope every time you wake up. When we walk out that door, I'm scared as fuck. I don't know what call I'm going to get. I got people in the hood. We don't know when we're going to have to protest, say his name, her name. And I'm going to bring it back to Pablo while we're saying hashtag boycott Family Dollar. There's a list of corporations that we're going to have to not go to. We're going to have to start giving up some stuff. We're going to have to start fasting off of these corporations. Family Dollar, the young boy in Mississippi, I think his name was Jaheim McMillan. Him and his friends, something happened. Somebody called the police as usual. The police came. He have his hands up. It's 5 of them. Boom, he gets shot in the head. No gun, no nothing. 15 years old. Family Dollar wouldn't release the cameras because they have the power to stick together. They're having all of us fighting and stuff, but all the CEOs, all the managers, they're making tens of millions of dollars a year, and they can't even give you $1,000. So that you can pay the same bills that's going to them. They own the corporations, they own the car lots, they own the housing market. And so all we doing, we're a hamster on the wheel. We just running like, I'm finna get off of this motherfucker. If I'm gonna go to jail, I'm going to jail for something. You and your children need to fight for something or fall for anything. My computer is dying. But I just wanted to bring that to you. We just wanted to have this breaking news, and we wanted to put you on. We're going to do this every week. We're not stopping until we get something. And then whatever they give us, we still want more. Right now, we have demands, and I'm adding in demand. We have looked at certain towns that they can give us. They can fund a lot of programs that can help us. They fund all types of stuff that would destroy us, but they never fund anything to help us. Then they write it in there, oh, we gave you this to help, but it's to help whites, Asians, and LBGT, everybody but what the source of the problem is. We need to focus on us. I'm not worried about little Sally and Susie. I don't want nobody to die. But if it's between my black child and the white child, bye-bye, white child. We're not going to be taking a higher road to go get some damn food in a mansion somewhere when we die, when my body is down here and I don't need to eat no more. Get them fantasies out your head. That's why we getting stronger, because all the dead people keep coming back telling us fight, fight, fight. And we not thinking. Your ancestors speaking to you. That's why you uncomfortable. That's why people are depressed, because you don't know the feeling you're feeling. You don't know how to listen to your ancestors. So you walking around depressed, but you shouldn't be doing nails and getting your nails and hair and feet done. We should be lining up and seeing how we gonna fight. We should be doing like they did the boys, but boycott. We need to be growing food, stacking up food. That's the whole point of towns and the farmland that we're doing, because it's going to be eventually when we move off of their plantation, we'll pay one rent if we got to pay for the land, because we still in the states of America. They want their taxes, but let's empty the projects, or let's buy them up one. Y'all start looking up towns and let's get a deal plan together. What do you want? I said I told the universe and God, I don't want to die before I see something. How come Malcolm X ain't see this? They brag on Martin Luther King. He ain't seen no little boys and little girls together. He seen a nightmare before he died, and they wanted to kill him before he told it. And then they run around talking about, I had a dream, little kids and little white kids. When that man sat there and said, I had a dream that I feel like I'm integrating my people in a burning house, I made a mistake. So again, y'all be blessed. I'm working on some stuff, and we just had to jump on here to let you know we still at it, and we hope y'all are still at it. This fight is a fight until we see the promised land. I'm gonna just read this with Brennan. That's why they constantly impress on us not to retaliate against them so they can run rapid, but human nature. What they gave us, the first law of nature is self-preservation, and that's what we are banking, and that's what we're using. That's the first law. If it comes between their lives and ours, we're supposed to choose ours first. Dang, she said her patient bought a whole town. That's right. We need to start buying it up or demanding that the banks finance them and start doing something with them trillions of dollars they made off of your grandparents' back. That's why they don't want you to know if you the Indians or whatever. We the only people running around, and some of us can trace our family, but a lot of us, we know if your great grandparents was on a sex farm, we know that there were sex farms. Whether we got here on a boat or not, we know in America there were sex farms. We know the practices was moms sleep with brothers, brothers sleep with sisters, sisters sleep with daddies, etc., etc. How are you going to find your people? This is your people. Period. Pooh. Y'all have a beautiful, melanated, original day. Power to the people. This is the UEOA report.